Greetings, sports lovers. The National Gridiron League continues to insinuate that they might someday actually play football. Now, they have announced a couple of times, beginning a year and a half ago, and they have pushed back a couple of times too. But now there is a date, 18 April 2020, scheduled for kickoff, but there are no venues announced. So my concern is obviously that this could be another league just harvesting money from naive investors, which, by the way, someday I would be one. I will be one. When I've made my first million, I commit to at least putting a couple of $100,000 into the ownership group of a minor league indoor football team for myself, because I want to. But one of the concerns with the IFL and all of the indoor football leagues is that they are going to lose out to the XFL. That the XFL is going to take all the air out of the room, but I think not. First of all, right now, the XFL, while doing very well on television, is only in 8 markets. So there's only going to be 5 or 6 events a year, except for Houston this year, which will likely get us 7th because the championship game is there. So there's plenty of room, and the NGL starting in April, the IFL starts in early March. That leaves plenty of room for football fans. The NFL doesn't start until September, and NCAA football doesn't start until late August. As I've mentioned before, the NFL dominates ratings, but the NCAA does much, much better. There are more NCAA teams, and people have a more visceral, emotional connection to their favorite college team. That said, back to the NGL, there have already been 2 relocations approved by the league, despite the fact that they have never played a game. That is my number 1 rule, is that I need, for me to support a league, I demand that there be consistency for the fan. And the NGL likely is going to be exclusively an attendance-based product, which means there's not going to be TV money. I like the IFL. I liked the Arena Football League, but it did not always make for good television. Now, the AFL was getting better and better as time went by, but the other leagues, they're not spending the money on production of a TV product, or even, most of us watch these games on the internet. And so I just think that they are going to be dependent on fan attendance at the games, and that means there's got to be consistency of location. I personally, when my team gets there, I'm going to go to the mayor of the city, and I'm going to give the logo and the stats to the city, because that is just key for me to support a league. That said, there's some definite upsides to the National Gridiron League. First of all, they're in a couple of markets, at least they claim to be in a couple of markets that I am interested in, St. Louis and Atlanta, and it looks like they're committed to underserved markets like Little Rock, Arkansas, which has not had professional football since the Continental Football League of the late 1960s and their team, the Diamonds. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, which last had professional indoor football with Arena Football 2 and the Blaze. Mississippi with the Mudcats. I did see the Mississippi Mudcats. It's the same logo when they were with the American Indoor Football League. They took on their arch nemesis, the South Florida Stingrays, and came out victorious. Topeka, Kansas with the Capitals, and they have had professional indoor football with the Coyotes, which were a part of the APFL and later the CIFL. Will the National Gridiron League ever actually take the field? You tell me.